Jésù Olúwa wa. God bless you akọrin má bínú. Now, Ọlọ́run wá pè mí àti ẹ wọlé. Orin tó fún wa láti lè pe ọkàn wa padà sí ìrònú pìwàdà. So kì í ṣe pé o máa kàn mí ní òní jó. Àwọn ijó tó máa jó wà ńbẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n kó o tó jó, kọ́kọ́ wádìí ọkàn rẹ dáadáa níwájú Ọlọ́run. Check dáadáa níbi tó dúró sí. And that is why nínú ẹ̀kọ́ kíkà ìkíní èyí tó ṣẹlẹ̀, before we get to that particular first lesson, before grace found Moses, something had happened in the book of Genesis chapter 20. Okay, let us read Genesis chapter 15. God called Abraham. God established a divine covenant with Abraham. Okay, Eja Shebai. God bless you, mommy. You to me.
After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abraham in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abraham, I am thy shield.
Okay, now get to verse 13. God established, 13. Hold on. God established a divine covenant with Abraham. And Abraham now asked God, Olúwa, kini ma fi mo wípé lóòótọ́ ló fún mi. God now told Abraham specifically, ó yá mú àwọn ẹran yìí, mú àwọn ẹyẹ yìí, là wọ́n sí méjì. Èmi Ọlọ́run máa wá gbà gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹbọ.
And he said unto Abraham, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger.
Hold on. I will tell you where to read now. I want to explain to some point. You are still reading verse 13 for me. Now, Ọlọ́run wá ṣàlàyé fún Abraham, ó yá, do this thing and sacrifice it for me. When it got to the midday, something happened. The ravens come from heaven. It came, those carcass. Ó dé bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní bọ́ sórí ẹ̀. Àwọn ẹyẹ yẹn fẹ́ máa jẹ. Abraham dìde pẹ̀lú ìbínú, ó lu àwọn ẹyẹ yẹn dànù. Nítorí pé ẹbọ tó rú, Ọlọ́run ló fún. Bọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ ṣe máa ń ṣe lónìí. Ẹni tó ra fáànù fún church, tó bá wọ church ńjọ́ Sunday, fáànù yẹn la máa wá káàkiri. Tí fáànù yẹn ṣe tí dé ni, kí ló dé tó monitor nǹkan tó ṣe? Ìwọ ló ra fáànù fún wa, jẹ́ ká fi síbi tó bá wù wá. A lè fi sókè, a lè fi sínú ọ́fíìsì olùṣọ́, ṣùgbọ́n ó dé bá máa wò káàkiri máa pọ̀ níbodè ni. Ẹjọ́ fáànù tí mo ra yẹn, us fan ni, us fan náà kọ sí lára. Japan náà ti rà dé, ṣé ẹ ò gbé síta ni? Kí ló kàn ẹ́? Don't monitor it. Abraham monitor nǹkan tó ṣe fún Ọlọ́run. God now appeared unto Moses. God appeared unto Abraham. And God gave an everlasting judgment that is so powerful. God now said, the generation after Abraham will go into slavery for 400 years. God was silent. God was silent for 400 years. He never listened to the Israelites. Lónìí orí ọ̀fẹ́ Ọlọ́run máa tún ṣe fún ẹ. Read verse 13 for me.
And he said unto Abraham,
Yes.
Know of a surety,
Yes,
that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
You can now see. Ọlọ́run sọ bẹ́ẹ̀, ó dẹ̀ dákẹ́. There are so many times whereby God will be silent in a particular church. In a parish, God can be silent in that parish, whereby they will be praying and they will not be answered. Why? What is Shenkakan? A particular family will be under particular bondage. They will be praying and that thing will not move until when God speaks. In the house of Jesse, no king, but the scepter of kingship is still in Jesse's house, not until when David came. In the book of 1 Samuel chapter 16, all those Joab jade, Eliab jade, none of them. But the lost scepter in the house of David, Jesse, was recovered when grace found David. God was silent for 400 years. Ọlọ́run ò sọ̀rọ̀ fáwọn ọmọ Ísírẹ́lì. Wọ́n káàkiri, wọ́n rìn káàkiri, oore ọ̀fẹ́ ò fọhùn fún wọn. Bẹ́ẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ ló yẹ ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú ìjọ mímọ́. On that particular event, May 23rd. May 23rd is Luli. It is not September. That is the wrong interpretation of by the Constitution. On May 23rd, 1947 was when Papa Oshofa received that. That was when he had that language. luli. Ohun tó sọ luli fún kì í ṣe ẹyẹ ló sọ, àáyá ló sọ. A white beard monkey ni bàbá Ọ̀ṣọ́fà rí tó sọ wípé ó ké luli. So orin yẹn kì í ṣe àwọn ẹyẹ ìwò ń ké luli, àwọn aya wọn ń ké luli. Nítorí luli yẹn àáyá ló farahàn ló sọ luli fún bàbá Ọ̀ṣọ́fà. But when it got to September 29th of that same year, started the first church. So luli àkọ́kọ́ farahàn. Why? Because nínú ayé ẹ̀sìn ti pọ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ń kú òkú wọn ò dé ọ̀dọ̀ Ọlọ́run. That spirit was telling Papa Ọ̀ṣọ́fà wípé for many years wọ́n á sin Ọlọ́run láàárọ̀, wọ́n á lọ sílé yẹ̀mí wò lálẹ́. Ẹ lọ́wọ́ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ọmọ youth wa láwọn programs káàkiri tí ń bá lọ. Ó ní àwọn bead white kékeré kan báyìí. That is a very tiny bead. White ni, ìmí green and kini. Ẹ máa rí lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọmọ youth wa. And the monto mean it is another area of initiation. So àwọn kan ló ní ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n rò bóyá n tó ń rè ní ẹ̀rí bead lọ́wọ́ wọn tán kó wọlé wá. They don't know that indirectly you've initiated yourself into some spiritual area that you never know. Wàá wá sùn lálẹ́ wọ́n á máa lo ẹni yẹn ṣiṣẹ́ tó bá jí lára á máa mí bí ẹṣin. Wọ́n ti lò ó rìn káàkiri gbogbo ìgboro torí pé n tó bọnú ẹ̀ ó mọ̀. Hallelujah. For good 400 years, just like Papa Ọ̀ṣọ́fà received that divine mandate, that luli, grace is coming. Now, Moses received that after 430 years. Not until when Moses was 30 years. When Moses was 30 years was when grace found him in Exodus chapter 3. Who is reading the Bible for me now? Aha.
The priest of Midian, and he led his flock to the west side of the wilderness,
Yes.
and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire, out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and lo, the bush was burning, yet it was not consumed.
Yes.
And Moses said, I will turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burning. When the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called him out of the bush, Moses, Moses, and he answered, Here I am.
Underline that word. That's where I'm going. Sit down, my sister. God called him. So I'm talking about grace. I want to talk about like 4 categories of grace. But let me talk about the methodology under grace. The first methodology of grace says, when grace is pregnant, grace will be pregnant for mercy. When grace delivers, grace will deliver favor. But in the absence of grace, favor turns to labor. Kọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ tó yẹ kó rí favor Ọlọ́run, àwa máa labor, running from pillar to pole, looking for ends to meet. Níbẹ̀ lèèyàn kan máa jókòó sí, ọmọọba tásísà tẹ́rẹ́kùsù máa mú ọrẹ wá, ọmọọba ṣẹ́bà tí ṣẹ́bà máa mú ẹ̀bùn wá, kí lẹ́ni yẹn rí gbà, orí ọ̀fẹ́ ni. Àwọn kan máa ṣàmì lónìí, bí òkùnkùn ṣe ń kákò lójú ọjọ́, kágo mẹ́sàn-án òní tó lù láṣálẹ́, orí ọ̀fẹ́ àti rógolo ní ìtò tí ìrígbà láti January, Ọlọ́run yọ̀ǹda ẹ̀ sílẹ̀ lónìí bẹ́ẹ̀. Number 1 of the type of grace is what I call grace to be called. Gbogbo wa kọ́ la pè. We are talking about grace to be called. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ lórí ló dá ìfóònù nọ́mbà Ọlọ́run, Ọlọ́run ò pè. Ẹlòmíì miss call lórí, kò tí mọ̀ bóyá Ọlọ́run fẹ́ pè òun ní àbí wrong number. Ẹ̀rẹ́ lomi wọ́n sọ fún pé lọ gba iṣẹ́ Olúwa. Iṣẹ́ Olúwa tó ní kó lọ gbà, ó dẹ̀ fi iṣẹ́ ara tó ń ṣe lẹ̀, ó wá jókòó sáyìíká, ó wá di problem mọ́ wa lọ́rùn. Because kò béèrè category iṣẹ́ Olúwa tó ní kó ṣe. Iṣẹ́ Olúwa pé 1,000,001. There are 2 areas. We have the clerical, we have the clergy, we have the laity. The clergy, they are the full time. Tọ́lọ́ sọ pé kò gbọdọ̀ ṣiṣẹ́ ara mọ́. The laity, wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ ara, wọ́n dẹ̀ ń farahàn níwájú Ọlọ́run. So, èwo la pè é sí nínú ẹ̀. So when you are called, when God gives a vision, a provision will be with it. So God cannot give a vision without giving provision. So what are the provisions tá a fún ẹ? Olóògbọ́ ìpè, irú ìpè wo ló gbọ́? A ò mọ̀. Grace to be called. Papa Ọ̀ṣọ́fà was called not because of any other thing. He was called to found a church, to bring the lost soul padà wá sọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run. Hallelujah. So the grace to be called is a grace that God will bring someone out of a particular family, of a particular generation. Nínú ìran tẹ́lẹ̀ omi wà, ìran yẹn wọ́n ní wọn ò ń ṣògo ń bẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n oore ọ̀fẹ́ dẹ̀ máa pè jáde kúrò nínú bẹ̀, ó kú fún mi. Kí ló pọ̀ ń bẹ̀?